Hi, welcome to our channel where we share the most intriguing stories. In a quiet suburban neighborhood, Adam Baker's life seemed picture perfect. A loving family, a beautiful home, and now the ultimate symbol of success, a bright red sports car. But admiration can breed envy, and his neighbor Jason's fascination soon turns into a sinister obsession, shattering the peace Adam worked so hard to protect. Adam Baker was the kind of man who inspired admiration. A self-made entrepreneur, he had spent years building a comfortable life for his family. His wife, Sarah, was his rock, and their 8-year-old son, Connor, brought joy and energy into their home. Their modest, yet spacious house in the suburbs of Houston, Texas, was a dream come true, a quiet retreat from the hustle of city life. For Adam, it wasn't just about material success. It was about providing stability and happiness for his loved ones. Recently, Adam had treated himself to something special, a bright red sports car, sleek, powerful, and brimming with personality. The car symbolized more than luxury. It was a milestone, a reward for years of hard work. The day the car was delivered, the entire family shared his excitement. Connor buzzed around the driveway, inspecting every detail, while Sarah smiled, snapping photos to commemorate the moment. Adam could already picture the weekend drives he would take with his family, the wind rushing past as they explored the countryside together. As he stood admiring his new vehicle on the driveway, Adam's neighbor Jason strolled over. Jason had lived in the neighborhood long before Adam and his family moved in 5 years ago. A single man in his early 40s, Jason was known for his peculiar mix of charm and envy. He was always the first to notice when someone upgraded their home, bought a new gadget, or shared photos of a family vacation. Though Adam had sensed Jason's occasional jealousy, he had always made an effort to be friendly and supportive. They exchanged small talk about sports, the weather, and neighborhood gossip at barbecues and community events. Jason's eyes lit up as he approached. "Wow, Adam, that's a beauty. You must be thrilled." His tone was effusive, but there was an undertone that Adam couldn't quite place. Jason's gaze lingered on the car, his admiration bordering on obsession. "Thanks, Jason," Adam replied, smiling. "It's been a long time coming. We're really excited to have it." Jason nodded, circling the car, his hands clasped behind his back, as if he were inspecting a work of art. "A car like this. Not everyone gets to own something like this. You're lucky, Adam." Adam chuckled modestly. "Luck's part of it, I guess, but mostly hard work." Jason paused, his expression hard to read, and then gave Adam a broad grin. "You deserve it," he said, clapping him on the shoulder. "Enjoy it, man. I mean it." As Jason walked back to his house, Adam watched him go, his mind lingering on their interaction. Over the years, Jason had made comments that hinted at his envy, not just of the car, but of Adam's house, his marriage, and even his wardrobe. While Jason had always stopped short of outright hostility, Adam couldn't shake the feeling that something simmered beneath the surface. Still, he dismissed the thought, focusing instead on the happiness of the moment. That evening, as the sun set over the quiet neighborhood, Adam sat on his porch with Sarah and Connor. They talked about the adventures they would have in the new car, laughing as Connor excitedly proposed a family road trip to the Grand Canyon. The sports car gleamed in the fading light, a symbol of their shared dreams and Adam's determination. But in the back of Adam's mind, an uneasiness flickered, just for a moment. He shook it off, convinced that his neighbor's admiration was genuine. Little did he know, this day would mark the beginning of an unraveling peace, setting the stage for an event that would shake the very foundation of his quiet suburban life. The morning after unveiling his dream car, Adam was ready to take it on its first proper drive. Sarah and Connor joined him, eager for a family outing. Connor scrambled into the back seat, his excitement barely contained, while Sarah settled in the front passenger seat with a cup of coffee in hand. Adam glanced at the rear-view mirror, catching the reflection of his family's bright faces. "Ready for the maiden voyage?" he asked, turning the key. The engine roared to life, filling the air with the deep hum of precision engineering. Connor cheered, and Sarah grinned, her excitement matching her son's. Adam eased the car down their driveway, savoring every moment. But just as the vehicle rolled over the smooth concrete, the rhythm of their joy was shattered by a loud, sharp pop. Adam instinctively hit the brakes, and the car lurched to a stop. "What was that?" Sarah asked, alarm flashing across her face. Adam stepped out, his heart pounding. He walked around the car, inspecting the tires. His stomach sank as he saw the rear tire completely deflated, a jagged piece of metal embedded in the rubber. Then another pop. This time, it was the front left tire. Before Adam could react, a third followed. "Stay in the car," he barked, his voice tight with urgency. He crouched to examine the driveway and froze. Hidden just beneath the surface of the gravel were sharp, menacing tire spikes. Carefully arranged, they left no doubt that this was intentional. Sarah stepped out despite his warning, gasping when she saw the spikes. Adam, who would do something like this? Adam's mind raced. His car was barely drivable now, and to make matters worse, the front bumper had grazed the edge of the fence when the third tire gave way. The bright red car now bore scratches that cut deep into its flawless paint. Connor peeked out from the back seat, wide-eyed and scared. "It's okay, buddy," Adam said, forcing calm into his voice. "Everything's fine. We're safe." But deep down, he wasn't so sure. The sound of the commotion drew neighbors from their houses. A small crowd gathered, murmuring in shock as they took in the scene. Jason was among them, jogging over with an expression of exaggerated concern. "What happened?" Jason asked, his voice laden with sympathy. "Oh no, not the car. That's awful, Adam." Adam nodded curtly, unable to fully suppress the suspicion brewing in his mind. Jason's concern seemed genuine, but something about it felt performative, even calculated. "Yeah, someone left these spikes on my driveway," Adam said, gesturing to the scattered pieces of metal. Jason crouched down to examine the spikes, shaking his head. "Terrible. Just terrible. Who would do such a thing?" His voice was heavy with disbelief, but Adam noticed how quickly Jason straightened up and retreated, offering nothing more than a generic, "If there's anything I can do, just let me know," before walking away. The police arrived shortly after to document the scene. Adam explained the situation, showing the spikes and the damage to his car. The officer nodded grimly, taking notes and promising to investigate further. Still, Adam could sense the limitations of their involvement. Without clear evidence pointing to a culprit, the case would likely stall. Later that afternoon, as Adam cleaned up the mess and arranged for the car to be towed, a knock came at the door. It was Tom Williams, another neighbor, his face clouded with unease. "Adam, I didn't want to say anything earlier," Tom began, his voice low, "but I saw something last night. Around midnight, I noticed Jason out near your house. He was doing something in your driveway." Adam's chest tightened. "Are you sure it was Jason?" Tom nodded. "It was dark, but I'm sure. I didn't think much of it at the time, but after this morning." He trailed off, leaving the implications hanging in the air. Adam thanked Tom for his honesty, but inside, his anger simmered. Jason's sudden admiration for the car, his eagerness to insert himself into the aftermath, and now, this. Everything seemed to align too perfectly. That night, Sarah voiced her fears. "Adam, this isn't just about the car. What if this escalates? What if it wasn't about the car at all, but about us?" Adam reassured her, but deep down, he shared her unease. Someone had invaded their peace, turning their own driveway into a trap. The sense of safety he had worked so hard to build for his family now felt fragile, and the realization stung. As the house grew quiet, Adam sat in his study, staring at the photos of the spikes on his phone. He needed answers. Jason wasn't just a neighbor anymore, he was a threat, and Adam wasn't about to let him get away with it. The next morning, Adam sat at his kitchen table, staring at the phone number of his lawyer, Michael Grant. Michael had handled property disputes for Adam in the past, but this situation felt different, more personal, more dangerous. Adam finally dialed the number, his resolve hardening with each ring. "Michael, I need your help." Adam began laying out the events of the past 48 hours. He described the tire spikes, the damage to the car, and Tom's account of seeing Jason near his driveway. Michael listened intently, his tone measured and professional when he finally responded. "This sounds deliberate, Adam," Michael said, "but we'll need more than witness testimony to build a case. We'll need physical evidence directly linking Jason to the spikes." Adam sighed. "I figured as much. I'll see what I can do. Meanwhile, can you start preparing a civil suit? I want to be ready." Michael agreed, and Adam hung up, feeling a mix of frustration and determination. The weight of what had happened and the danger it posed to his family spurred him into action. He needed proof, and there was only one place to find it: Jason's house. Later that afternoon, Adam knocked on Jason's front door, his heart pounding in his chest. Jason answered almost immediately, wearing his usual wide smile. "Adam, what brings you by?" "Hey, Jason," Adam said, forcing a casual tone. "I was working on fixing the fence and realized I don't have the right tools. Mind if I borrow a wrench and a pry bar?" Jason hesitated for a fraction of a second before stepping aside. "Sure thing. Come on in." The air in Jason's house felt heavy, as though the walls themselves held secrets. Jason led Adam to the garage, chatting about nothing in particular. "It's crazy what happened to your car," Jason said, glancing over his shoulder. "I hope the cops catch whoever did it." Adam's eyes swept the cluttered space, searching for anything out of place. Then he saw it. A burlap sack propped against the far wall. The corner of a sharp metal object poked through the fabric. His pulse quickened. "Here you go," Jason said, handing Adam a wrench and a pry bar. But Adam wasn't listening anymore. He moved toward the sack, his movements deliberate yet unhurried. "What's in here?" Adam asked, his voice deceptively calm. Jason froze, his eyes narrowing. "Oh, just some old junk from a project I was working on. Nothing important." Adam crouched and opened the sack, his breath catching when he saw what lay inside. Spikes, identical to the ones that had shredded his tires, gleamed under the dim light. Adam pulled out his phone and snapped several photos before Jason could react. "What the hell are you doing?" Jason's voice was sharp now, his friendly facade crumbling. Adam stood, his grip tightening on the phone. "These look a lot like the spikes I found on my driveway, Jason. Care to explain?" Jason's face twisted with anger and something else. Fear. "You're way out of line, Adam. You can't just come in here accusing me of stuff." Adam took a step closer, his tone low and firm. "I know it was you, Jason. Tom saw you near my house that night. You've been jealous of me for years, haven't you? This was your way of getting back at me." Jason's bravado faltered, his shoulders slumped, and his voice cracked. "You don't understand, Adam. You have everything. A beautiful family, a perfect house, that damn car. People like me, we never get breaks like that. It's not fair." Adam stared at him, stunned by the depth of Jason's resentment. "You did this because you think my life isn't fair? You endangered my family for that?" Before Jason could respond, the sound of sirens filled the air. Adam had called the police while waiting for Jason to open the door, and now their arrival marked the end of Jason's denials. 2 officers entered the garage, quickly assessing the situation as Adam stepped aside to let them do their job. Jason's protests grew louder as the officers cuffed him, but they fell on deaf ears. The sack of spikes was taken into evidence, along with the photos on Adam's phone and Tom's statement. As Jason was led away, he glared at Adam, his eyes burning with unrepentant anger. Adam exhaled, the tension leaving his body in waves. The fight wasn't over. The legal proceedings would be long and grueling, but he had taken the first step toward justice. As he walked home, he thought of Sarah and Connor, their safety his top priority. Jason's actions had revealed the danger of unchecked envy, but Adam was determined to ensure his family's peace would never be threatened again. The weight of the confrontation still lingered as Adam watched the police car carrying Jason disappear down the street. For the first time in days, the oppressive tension that had gripped his chest began to loosen. He walked back to his house, greeted by the concerned but relieved faces of Sarah and Connor. "What happens now?" Sarah asked, her voice soft but steady. She had been a pillar of strength through this ordeal, though Adam could see the worry etched into her features. "Now," Adam said, "we let the law take its course." The following week, Adam's lawyer, Michael, worked tirelessly to prepare the case against Jason with the photographic evidence of the spikes, Tom's eyewitness testimony, and the incriminating items seized from Jason's garage. The legal team was confident they had a solid case. The charges included property damage, reckless endangerment, and malicious intent. Jason, meanwhile, remained unapologetic. During preliminary hearings, he attempted to downplay his actions, insisting it was a harmless prank blown out of proportion. But the seriousness of the situation, particularly the threat posed to Adam's family, left little room for leniency. As the case unfolded, the court saw Jason for what he truly was, a man consumed by envy and bitterness. Witnesses from the neighborhood came forward to share their interactions with him, painting a picture of a man whose jealousy had turned into a dangerous obsession. Adam took the stand to recount the events, his voice steady as he described the fear and anger he felt when his family's safety was jeopardized. It wasn't just about the car, Adam told the court. Jason violated the trust we all value in our community. He turned my driveway into a trap and endangered my wife and son. This isn't something any neighbor should endure. The judge, moved by the compelling evidence in Adam's testimony, delivered a firm verdict. Jason was sentenced to 1 year in prison, ordered to pay restitution for the damage to Adam's car and fence, and fined for the emotional distress he caused. When the gavel fell, Adam felt a surge of relief. Justice had been served, but the process had taken its toll. In the days following the trial, Adam focused on rebuilding, not just the physical damage to his property, but the sense of peace that had been disrupted. The neighborhood also began to heal. Many of Adam's neighbors approached him, expressing their regret for not recognizing Jason's behavior earlier. Tom, in particular, became a close ally, helping Adam organize a neighborhood meeting to discuss ways to foster trust and accountability among residents. That evening, as Adam stood in his repaired driveway, watching Connor play in the yard, he felt a quiet sense of victory. The ordeal had reminded him of the importance of vigilance, of standing up to threats, no matter how small they might initially seem. Jason's envy might have fueled his actions, but it was Adam's resolve that had ensured justice was done. "Come on, Dad," Connor called, holding a soccer ball. "Let's play." Adam smiled, joining his son with a light heart. Though scars from the experience remained, his family's strength and unity had proven unshakable. And as the sun set over the quiet suburban street, Adam knew he had reclaimed not just his property, but the peace that made it home. In the weeks following the trial, the neighborhood began to feel different. The incident with Jason had been a wake-up call, not just for Adam and his family, but for the entire community. People who once waved politely from a distance now stopped to chat, offering support and pledging to strengthen the bonds that had frayed over time. Adam became an unexpected catalyst for change. His decision to confront Jason and see the legal process through resonated with his neighbors. At the suggestion of Tom Williams, Adam hosted a community meeting to address the lessons learned from the ordeal. To his surprise, the turnout was overwhelming. Families who had kept their distance during the chaos now gathered in solidarity, eager to ensure that their neighborhood never faced such turmoil again. During the meeting, Adam spoke candidly. "This could have ended much worse," he said, his voice steady but sincere. "We need to be vigilant, not just about our safety, but about supporting one another. A neighborhood isn't just a collection of houses, it's a community, and we're all responsible for keeping it strong." The response was immediate and enthusiastic. Residents volunteered to create a neighborhood watch program, and a committee was formed to discuss safety improvements, including better lighting and security cameras for shared spaces. Even children joined in, chalking cheerful messages like "Stronger Together" on the sidewalks. For Adam and his family, the ordeal marked a turning point. Though the memory of Jason's betrayal lingered, it no longer defined their lives. Instead, it became a story of resilience and the power of standing up for what's right. Connor, ever curious, asked one evening, "Dad, do you think Jason will come back after everything?" Adam crouched down to meet his son's eyes. "I don't know, buddy, but if he does, we'll be ready, and we'll always protect each other, just like we did this time." The neighborhood's transformation extended beyond camaraderie. The shared experience brought a renewed sense of purpose. Barbecues, block parties, and even a monthly book club sprang up, fostering connections that had long been neglected. Adam found himself at the center of it all, not as a hero, but as a neighbor who had helped reignite a sense of community. One evening, Tom stopped by with a bottle of wine and a handshake. "You've done more for this neighborhood than you realize, Adam," he said. "I think we all needed a reminder of what it means to look out for each other." Adam smiled, feeling the truth of those words. The road back to normalcy had been tough, but the result was a community stronger than ever. For the first time since the ordeal began, Adam felt not just relief, but pride. Pride in his family, his neighbors, and the life they were rebuilding together. As the months passed, life in the neighborhood found a new rhythm. The scars left by Jason's actions began to fade, both literally and figuratively. Adam's car, now fully restored, gleamed once more in the driveway, a symbol of resilience rather than misfortune. The repaired fence stood tall, marking not just the boundary of Adam's property, but the strength of his determination to protect his family. Reflecting on the ordeal, Adam felt a mix of emotions. Anger at Jason's betrayal had long since been replaced by pity, a recognition of how unchecked envy and bitterness could consume a person. But most of all, he felt gratitude for his family's safety, for the support of neighbors like Tom, and for the lessons the experience had taught him. Sitting on the porch one evening, Adam watched Connor chase fireflies in the yard while Sarah sipped tea beside him. "It's strange," Sarah said, breaking the comfortable silence. "What started as something so awful has brought us all closer. Even the neighborhood feels different now, more connected." Adam nodded. "Sometimes it takes something hard to remind us what really matters: trust, community, family." The neighborhood had indeed changed. The monthly meetings continued, fostering collaboration and mutual care. People were no longer strangers living side by side. They had become a true community, looking out for one another. For Adam, the experience became a defining chapter in his life. He had faced a threat, stood his ground, and come out stronger. More importantly, he had taught Connor a valuable lesson. No matter how tough the battle, standing up for what's right was always worth it. As the sun dipped below the horizon, Adam smiled. The road to peace hadn't been easy, but it had led to something greater: a neighborhood and a life built on resilience and unity.